Good morning, everybody. I forgot to drop the overlay. It is your boy Opti. It is Friday, May 26th in the year 2023, and welcome to Simply Bitcoin. We are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, and mimetic warfare. We bring on Bitcoiners from all over the world, from the biggest names to the everyday Bitcoiner. We got them all. Let us know who you want to come on the show, and we will do our best to bring them on. And we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And today's show is going to be a little special one. As you can see from the title, we're continuously running on this theme of Bitcoin being political. I know everyone always gives us a little flack because Bitcoin is apolitical, which means it is political by nature. But it's something we talk about here all the time. Not only are we trying to break out of our echo chamber, the Bitcoin echo chamber, we are realizing in real time that I think everyone on planet Earth, or at least anyone that is paying attention, anyone that is awake, knows what the problem is. They can feel that there is a problem going on in the world. It's the money printer, stupid. It is the fact that the cabal of bankers have control of the money printer. This is where their power comes from. And now they are fighting tooth and nail to try to claw back that control because Bitcoin has opened up the playing field. And they realize that they need to gain control. Well, people are continuously talking about the problem, but very few people are talking about the solutions. So we are going to do our best today to continue to talk about the solutions because it's very simple, guys. Save in Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody, or we'll find ourselves in the same position that we are with fiat money. Anyways, in the culture, I am going to get a little speculative today. I think I might have tapped into a little vein that I think there's some crazy stuff going on in the mining field, and most people are missing out on it. And it's something that kind of hit me square in the face yesterday. Again, I will be doing a little speculation here, so don't hold me to it. But this is something that I've been watching this last week, and I think it's a very interesting thread. Anyways, let's bring in Rustin because I am not here alone. We got Rustin. You already know we're about to double team you on this one. Tag team WWF.
Let's go.
Make sure you guys understand that Bitcoiners are winning. Anyways, Rustin, how you doing this morning? Looking suave, brother.
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's Friday. But in this case, we do have a job. We got to deliver that signal, and we're going to be bringing it to you. You know, go touch some grass. Don't be smoking all that stuff. You got to keep your brain sharp in this information war. So here we go. Some signals, some new statements from Micheal Saylor that we're going to go through. Some may not see it a certain way, but while others pay lip service to equality and justice, Bitcoin is that in action. So we'll get to that later.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's get into the numbers.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today.
Of course, before we get into the numbers, guys, we are going to be at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, July 25th through 27th next year. I know it's early, but the reason we are plugging this now is because I heard you guys last year or this last conference last month, and everyone's saying the prices are too high. Well, get them now because I know you guys are going to want to be there. I know you guys are going to FOMO next year and you're going to complain and do the same thing you did this year, but go to b.tc/conference. Use the promo code Simply and you can get a discount on the conference next year. You guys want to be around the conference. It's something that I think all Bitcoiners love to do. I know everyone's super contrarian and edgy and they're like, I don't like the conference. But when you go, you realize it's all love and everyone is on the same page. You're not going to be able to get these conversations on the internet. So you want to be in Nashville. Bitcoiners are taking over Nashville, July 25th through 27th. Again, use the promo code Simply and you can get a discount on the tickets today. Get them now before the price goes up. Anyways, let's get into the numbers. Of course, we are over here on Clark Moody's dashboard. On Clark Moody's dashboard, and the current block height is 791,507, and the Bitcoin price is 26,440. Man, we are hovering around the 26K. Will we see lower prices? Hopefully not. Please serve me familia. Anyways, the current Moscow time, aka the sats per dollar, aka how much your dollar is worth in Bitcoin, is 3,782 sats per dollar. Will we see that 4K again? I sure hope not. But hey, if we do, cheap sats for us all. And then I think probably the most important number, at least to get our message across to most people out there, to explain to them what scarcity means in Bitcoin, is the percentage issued of Bitcoin at 92.3%. That means 92% of all Bitcoins ever created are already being distributed in the world. And we're going to be fighting for the last couple of million for the next, 100 years? Very crazy times ahead of us. Anyways, the market cap of Bitcoin is $512 billion. The realized monetary inflation taking fiat currencies to school is at 1.75%. Contrast that with your favorite fiat dollar, which is probably above 5%. And the Bitcoin versus gold market cap, only 3.89% of the gold market cap. It's almost like Bitcoin has a lot of room to run. You're still early. Anyways, the total capacity in the Lightning Network is 5,342 Bitcoin, which is a total capacity value of 141 million in dirty cuck bucks. And the public reachable Bitcoin nodes is 17,096. The hash rate, this is the key metric. This is what I'm going to be doing a little speculating in the culture today. The last 90 days is 341.9 exahashes with an estimated difficulty change of 1.3%. And guys, I thought the wizards broke Bitcoin, but apparently Bitcoin's still working, and we have 95 blocks to clear with pending fees of 14.55 BTC. The mempool is still a little crazy, but the fees are getting manageable. Anyways, I clipped together a nice little video for you guys today explaining the mechanism of inflation, otherwise known as the Mandrake mechanism. And considering that we had Janet Yellen this week and other politicians come out with the idea that we're probably, we, as in the U.S., is probably going to default on their debts June 1st. I think it is very, very important to continue to beat the drum and explain to people what the real problem is. And for the audio listeners, I have the St. Louis Fed chart over here of the M1 money supply. And the problem is very simple. They've printed an obscene amount of money, as you can see. Look at this hockey stick of money printing. Before December 30th, 2019, it was what? $4.2 trillion. After, it is $16.8 trillion. And in 2022, it's $20.6 trillion. They continuously print money. I think the actual statistic is they printed 40% of all dollars ever created in 2020. This is the fundamental problem that we are living and finding ourselves going through, but people still don't get that this is the issue. So I found this clip on Twitter. Shouts out to Denver Bitcoin for posting it. And it is everyone's favorite author from the Creature of Jekyll Island explaining what the Mandrake mechanism is. And then shouts out to BTC Therapist on Twitter. He found a TikTok and he kind of updated it. So I mashed them together. So we have a historical view of this before what we saw happen in 2020, and now a recent view making the rounds on the social media, and it's explaining the mechanism in real time. It's two sides of the same coin is kind of how I was looking at it. So we have the explanation, the blueprint, and then we have the pain and the aftermath. So let's just get into this and you guys will see what we're talking about.
The government is able to borrow a tremendous amount of money and therefore spend more than it takes in taxes through this process. But never enough. They always need more than that. Not to worry, they say. They walk further down the street to the Federal Reserve Building. Now the Fed has been waiting for them. That's one of the reasons it was created. And they walk in there and the Federal Reserve officer opens up his desk drawer, pulls out a big checkbook, and he writes a check to the United States Treasury for $1 billion and hands it to them. Now we need to stop and ask a question. Where did they get that money? That $1 billion, that's a lot of money. Who put the money into that account for the Federal Reserve so they could give it to Congress or to the Treasury? And the answer is, there is no money there. There's absolutely zero. There's just a checkbook. Well, if you and I were to do that, we would go to jail. But they can do it because Congress wants them to do it. This, in fact, is the payoff. This is the benefit to the government for being in the partnership. The government can go to the Federal Reserve and obtain instant amounts of any amount of money they want without having to confront the taxpayer and say, we're going to raise your taxes for this money directly. It would be very unpopular if Congress had to go to the public and say, you know, we have a lot of money we want to take from you folks, and it's going to cost you $3,000 per family more than it did last year. You know how long they'd last in office. So they like this mandrake mechanism very well. The public doesn't know that it's costing them anything. It's just how it works somehow.
$1 million 1993 today is now $2,070,000. Inflation in 5 years will probably devalue half of everyone's money listening to this in their 401ks, IRAs, and their soft saving accounts. Like right now, the world is a wreck, and their only solution to the devaluation is they're gonna have to work harder. Over the last 20 years, 2002 to 2022, salaries have increased 27%, but the cost of a home has gone up 148%. In other words, like our cost of living and lifestyles is not keeping up. Average person drives a $60,000 a year car that has a $50,000 a year salary with over $100,000 of student debt, 60% of America living check to check. We have a problem. And being busy is not the solution, and getting another job is not the solution. You have to graduate and develop more of the Gen Z millennial mind that says there's got to be a smarter way. It can't be the immigrant way of just work harder, because there is something to say for hard work. But if it's not smart enough hard work, then it's stupid work. It's dumb work. And there's a lot of financial idiots out there that have just not gotten the
not gotten self-educated. I think that I wish that part was there. But anyways, as you guys can see, we have this chart here, and I brought this up on the meme review, but I thought it would be fitting to put this here. Shouts out to the BTC therapist again. And he goes, the debt ceiling is a charade. Politicians are distracting you. Bitcoin fixes the money. And you can see how many times the debt ceiling has been raised. And it doesn't matter. Again, we say it all the time. It's not left versus right. It is orange versus green. And it's been changed many, many times through the years, and it will continue to be changed because politicians are not going to cut off their one power, and that is to spend as much money as possible. And I've been kind of harping on this on the show in different meme forms. And if an individual ran their balance sheet like the government does, we'd be absolutely broke. But yet, on some magical reason, on the government level, it is okay for them to continuously spend more money than they have. And again, just to drive this point, this is a news headline from CBS News. If debt ceiling isn't addressed by as early as June 1st, U.S. could default, Yellen warns. So we're back in the same position over and over and over again because of one simple problem. They like to spend more money than they have, and they will continue to spend more money than they have. But there's some interesting points in that clip that I put together. First, shouts out to G. Edward Griffin. If you haven't read The Creature from Jekyll Island, highly recommend you read it. But also, I don't know when that clip was taken, but it looks like it was somewhere around when I was born in either the early or late 80s, early 90s. And he said he was talking about billions with a B. It is no longer just billions that they print. They are printing trillions of dollars, guys. Again, I don't think humans understand big numbers. Big numbers are hard. Big numbers make our brains explode. Well, trillions is a lot bigger number than billions. It's literally 1,000 billion. That's a lot of money that they continuously print, and they act like it is nothing. And they literally create money out of thin air. This is where we're at. And what do we say all the time? Why are we being forced to use a money that someone can create out of thin air that no one has to work for? Well, we don't have to anymore. What the TikToker guys say at the end, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. We have the tools to opt out of this, and it's as simple as saving in Bitcoin, taking Bitcoin into self-custody, because we know that inflation is silent theft. And if you were asked to pay for all the ridiculous stuff that Congress and politicians want to pay want to use money for, you would not give them money because you realize one thing. I am not profiting off of this. This does not benefit me. Why do I have to spend money that I don't have for things that I don't care about? It doesn't have to be this way. Yet this is where we are right now. Work smarter, not harder. Save in Bitcoin. Take Bitcoin into self-custody because the cost of living does not match inflation. And I don't know if you're feeling the pain of inflation right now, but I think inflation is it's starting to get out of hand. And I think everyone is feeling this subconsciously. And the average person still doesn't know what is going on. And what do I say all the time? If you are awake, you know what the problem is. The problem is the money printer. The problem is that inflation is starting to get out of control. The problem is that the Federal Reserve has lost control as far as I'm concerned, but you don't have to sit here and take it anymore. Opt out of the madness, save in Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody. This is how you can protect yourself and your family. There is no alternative. As Bitcoin Tina says, it is Bitcoin or it is slavery. You can either continue to beat this drum and go down into the doldrums of fiat money, or you can exit the fiat system and save in Bitcoin. Work smarter, guys. This is the beauty of a disinflationary money, which is Bitcoin. Your holdings will improve. Your holdings will let you live a better life as the price goes up because it's going up forever, Laura. Anyways, Rustin, what's your thoughts on this clip?
I see Rave Elevator there. Everything is fine, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't peek behind the curtain. But Elaine nailed it. There's no right or left. There's just theft. And that's all that continues throughout fiat's existence since G. Edward Griffin, right? The creature from Jekyll Island came into existence in 1912, 1913. Old Woodrow Wilson got his way with that. But they will try to fight tooth and nail for their privilege to print. At the end of the day, it's just counterfeiting money. But if anyone else did it, your nuts are on the chopping block. And all throughout history, from the Roman Empire to today, they couldn't directly tax individuals for all the bullshit state initiatives. So they can inflate the money and debase it and force you to eat it on that end. So through your cost of goods, the invisible tax, the invisible theft of inflation that the people at the top reap from the others. So I think Frederick Bastiat said it. The great fiction is the state, that entity that believes it can live at the expense of everyone else. And those days are numbered. 140% debt to GDP, like 98.999% of countries that's happened to have all defaulted. We know the writing is on the wall. But while all these people still try to say, oh, our new initiative or our new government project will take care of it, we know what happens when government touches anything. The cost goes up, the quality goes down. And we're going to take a look here soon at Micheal Saylor said that Bitcoin is politically correct. Now, I think we think of, PC culture, PC principle from like South Park, but what is PC? Not like virtue signaling and things of that nature, but what about equity and justice and equality? These things are politically correct, and Bitcoin espouses all of those things. So when we get to news, we'll break down some more of that.
Yeah, I think people are going to be very interested to hear this take on the news. But before we get to that, it's very interesting to see the politicians and progressive minded people think that they really are on the vanguard of helping humanity. And it's, what's the saying? History repeats, it doesn't rhyme. And we've been here over and over and over again in the history of humanity, and yet we still don't learn our lesson. It's absolutely incredible. But I think now that we have Bitcoin, we can finally break that cycle and build on something that will improve humanity moving forward. And this is why we Bitcoin. This is why we continuously try to spread that signal. Anyways, let's get into the news because I know everyone's going to be a little contentious about this idea. Let's get this, Rustin.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin.
If you're a wealthy American, if you're Warren Buffett, you know, we have a very famous example, a video that's going viral on Twitter. 13-year-old girl says to Warren Buffett, I'm really worried about the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world. We're printing lots and lots of dollars, and if we're not the reserve currency, the value of the dollar is going to collapse. We're going to have hyperinflation. What should I do, Mr. Buffett? You know, and I wouldn't normally criticize, you know, a respected, successful business person of his age. But he and Charlie Munger did choose to go up on stage and answer questions and give financial guidance and advice and investment advice, and they are looked up to. And so you watch Warren Buffett answer the question, and his answer is, well, yeah, I mean, I guess the Fed inflated the money, but they needed to. And, you know, it's really difficult, you know, and politics have a difficult problem. And yeah, you're right, it is a problem. And Munger will say, you know, the dollar's going to zero. It's going to zero. They know it's a problem. And then he kind of meanders through it with an end advice, which is, well, you know, I don't know, but, you know, America's a great country. Don't bet against America. But the blood-curdling, terrifying, you know, depressing, you know, takeaway from the clip is the 13-year-old girl knows what the problem is. The country's full of people that can articulate the problem and write 1,000-page books on the problem. If you're rich in America, you don't have the answer because you're too comfortable.
There we go. Some good stuff from Saylor. Let's get that news up here. And what he's getting is, you know, freedom at the end of the day brings people together. Everyone can talk about the problems, and we can take a look where we start here. Warren Buffett backed new bank Visa MasterCard to join Brazil's CBDC pilot. These people are incapable of seeing a future outside of the system that they have reaped so much reward from. And where Saylor gets in is all these things, all these problems you talk about, whether it's inflation, debasement of the currency, there is an answer, and it's staring everyone right in the face, and no one is willing to really take that leap. But then again, in a very short time from the last halving, you know how far we've come. We have candidates from every political affiliation espousing Bitcoin and its principles, and also attacking CBDCs and state control and what that can lead to. So we're going to go through this article. Micheal Saylor thinks Bitcoin is politically correct. Is he right? Now we'll start right here. There is the tweet, and it sparked curiosity and debate as it raises questions about the relationship between Bitcoin and politics. Diving deeper into Saylor's tweet and exploring its possible implications, we can grasp the meaning behind Saylor's tweet. We must consider the broader context of the term politically correct, not virtue signaling PC. Not referring to language, policies, or actions that avoid offending or marginalizing anyone, but more so to promote inclusivity, sensitivity towards diverse perspectives. However, in Saylor's tweet, the context seems different. Saylor's assertion that Bitcoin is politically correct might stem from its inherent characteristics. Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network. It's governed by mathematical algorithms and consensus rather than centralized authorities. It transcends geographical borders, financial institutions, and political systems. Therefore, it remains unaffected by specific political or regulatory agendas. Some further implications of Saylor's statement and why Bitcoin is politically correct. Technically, neutral and unbiased. By labeling Bitcoin as politically correct, Saylor may imply that Bitcoin is neutral and unbiased in its functioning. It does not discriminate against ideology, economic system, or political affiliation. It offers a level playing field for all participants. Rules, but without rulers. Financial freedom. Bitcoin's decentralized nature allows individuals to exercise greater control over their wealth, bypassing traditional banking systems that may be subject to political influence or economic instability. It empowers users by providing an alternative form of financial freedom. Globally accessible. Bitcoin is accessible to anyone with an internet connection, disregarding political boundaries. It provides opportunities for individuals in regions with limited financial infrastructure or facing economic instability to participate in the global economy. And also the resistance to censorship. And it's been hit on quite a few times, going back to RFK at the Bitcoin conference. But the decentralized and cryptographic nature of Bitcoin make it resistant to censorship attempts. Transactions cannot be easily manipulated or controlled by a single authority, safeguarding financial autonomy. Now, I thought this too when looking at Saylor's tweet, that initially that is a paradox. Bitcoin politically correct, Bitcoin is anti-politic. But in the era of centralized entities and governments, all moving towards a more authoritarian realm, being apolitical is political in itself. By asserting that Bitcoin is politically correct, he highlights its neutrality, inclusivity, and resistance to political interference. Bitcoin's decentralized nature empowers individuals globally. Okay, so going through this some more, and at the end of the day, Bitcoin emerges as a politically correct alternative to our broken money system and all the consolidation of state power. Bitcoin's core principles, you have transparency, decentralization, and inclusivity. That's what makes it a champion of political correctness. Equal opportunities. Bitcoin's decentralized nature ensures the equal opportunities for participants worldwide, unlike traditional finance. I think we all know that. But here we go. Bitcoin operates on a level playing field. According to a study conducted by Cambridge University in 2020, the number of verified Bitcoin users globally exceeded 100 million. And that is a few years ago. So we can just think about now. But it demonstrates the widespread accessibility and the potential for financial inclusion to the disadvantaged. Also, the transparency and accountability piece. We cannot audit the Fed, but one key aspect of political correctness is being transparent with the people you represent. And Bitcoin excels here because every transaction is on the time chain and it's publicly recorded. Anyone can go verify it. But transparency fosters trust and accountability and responsibility. Like Bitcoin is responsibility go up technology and free market go up technology, but reducing the likelihood of corruption and malfeasance. According to blockchain analysis firm Chainalysis, the transparency of the Bitcoin time chain has aided in the identification and recovery of funds from illicit activities. So you can't launder your money through the legacy system like all these other entities do, or political affiliated groups taking money from foreign governments to achieve their political aims, which is obviously treason. But third, Bitcoin is empowering the unbanked. All over the world, billions of individuals lack access to basic banking. Bitcoin provides a lifeline for this large unbanked population. It's through its decentralized, censorship-resistant means you can transact value. In a report by the World Bank, estimated that 1.7 billion adults remain unbanked. Luckily, Strike now will be helping many in those underprivileged regions, available to 3 billion people worldwide now. But with Bitcoin and presenting an alternative to traditional systems that typically we know throughout history here in the US, these systems that may discriminate against certain demographics. And the current fiat-based monetary system, they always, whatever issue they're trying to fix, they always seem to exacerbate the economic disparity of whatever they're actually trying to fix. Central banks can manipulate monetary policy and create inflation, disproportionately affecting vulnerable populations. See, fiat inherently is not about the middle class or helping the underprivileged. It is about the Cantillon effect and siphoning wealth from the middle and lower classes to the parasitic elite. Bitcoin's fixed supply and decentralized issuance prevents arbitrary interventions like this state typically goes into. A study conducted by Lucerne University in Switzerland suggests that Bitcoin can serve as a hedge against currency devaluation and inflation with countries with weak or unstable fiat currencies. See Argentina or Venezuela recently. Bitcoin transcends borders, eliminating the need for intermediaries. No more banks or payment processors. Peer-to-peer transactions enable individuals from different nations to engage in trade without facing discrimination based on where they live or what they believe. This openness fosters cultural exchange, economic cooperation, and challenges protectionist practices, such as Trump's trade war with China, as an example of protectionism and short-sightedness backfiring, causing a worse economic situation. According to Coinmetrics, the daily value of cross-border Bitcoin transactions consistently exceeds several $billion, and this highlights its potential to facilitate global commerce without bias. So Bitcoin, by providing equal opportunities, empowering the unbanked, challenging economic disparities, and facilitating global peer-to-peer transactions, Bitcoin is disrupting traditional financial systems, which are exclusionary and prone to manipulation. Data and evidence showcase the potential of Bitcoin to foster a politically correct, fair, just financial ecosystem. While challenges remains, Bitcoin's journey towards greater political correctness paves the way for a more equitable, prosperous, and transparent future. And from here, Opti, we can go ahead and hit that second clip.
Right? And so what you've got is a bunch of mega billionaires that are very successful in America, but they don't have an answer or solution to the 13-year-old girl. The solution to the question was Bitcoin, right? And Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger can't allow themselves to understand that because they're so successful, they don't need to open their mind to and embrace a new idea. If Warren Buffett woke up tomorrow and his bank seized all of his assets and they were devalued to zero, and he was a pauper, and his neighbor, the Uber driver, was walking around with $100,000 worth of Bitcoin on a hardware wallet, Warren would say, "What is that again? Explain that to me."
Yeah.
What do you mean? My government, my bank can't steal all my money? That's a pretty good idea, right? And so I think that when you're a refugee from fleeing Iraq or you're crossing the border, and when you try to go through an airport and a hostile regime steals all your money and seizes all your gold, when you have to flee your 1,000-acre or 10,000-acre farm in Africa because a hostile regime decided it was illegal for people like you to own land, when that happens, you become a believer in a non-sovereign store of value crypto asset network, which is what Bitcoin is. The people that came to this country, the Huguenots, the settlers, the colonists, I think they understood it. I mean, they had all their property seized from them from wherever they came from. And their idea was, here's a place where I can own something and people might not steal it from me. As soon as they got here, people started trying to steal it from them again, right? That's the human condition.
Just slower.
But that's why they kept going west. It's like, I got to go west where there's no politicians to steal it from me, right? And that's a pretty powerful driver. So I think that the conclusion is people that are comfortable, they're fat, dumb, and happy in the United States are going to continue to reject new ideas like crypto assets, like Bitcoin, because they don't have to. If I don't have to embrace a new idea, when I get to a certain age, I won't. And that is as old as the Thomas Kuhn structure of scientific revolution. He said, paradigm shifts only get embraced in times of war or when the old guard dies. If you want to introduce a new idea, you need a war. Wars kind of work because if we're fighting a war and I introduce an airplane and I drop a nuclear bomb on your head, then you stop rejecting air power and you stop rejecting atomic weapons. You embrace the reality that, yeah, they do work, and maybe you need to figure it out. Wars work, but absent a war, people just have to, they just have to pass.
There we go. And please let those Charlie Mungers and Warren Buffetts meet their timely end. But guys, a lot of good things happening. Moving on a little bit, because we're going to lead into Opti's got some mining stuff going on. Some bullish takes here. JP Morgan, gold prices signal Bitcoin should be at about 45K right now. And we know a lot of countries are siphoning and adding gold to their reserves. But Bitcoin, equitable, just. Everyone that touches or interacts with Bitcoin can get the benefits of just taking part in the network, of using. Didn't we just have a huge hack yesterday, China, into critical infrastructure of the US, etc.? How many times has Bitcoin been hacked? Anybody count? Zero. Okay. But Bitcoin mining load flexibility and what it provides as a capacitor to the grid, but it directly monetizes that excess energy. But you can always have that excess load running. That's why I see Bitcoin as a capacitor, but it's monetizing that excess energy and mitigating energy shortages in Texas, as we're just starting to heat back up in the Midwest. Some of you have been there. We've been getting a lot of rain lately. And then also Bitcoin, equitable, just, honest. Bitcoin powers sustainable energy infrastructure in rural Africa and with the mini grids and what's going on there. Bitcoin is doing more for the world than any politician flapping their gums or any NGO that's holding other nations hostage through predatory loans. There's one solution to all this, and it's Bitcoin, the politically correct, just, equitable monetary system for anyone in the world.
Yeah, man. When you sent me this morning, the Bitcoin in me was fighting it. I think I got a little triggered hearing Bitcoin is politically correct, because while on the surface, it has a very negative connotation in the Bitcoin space, but it is interesting framing. And I think as much as I want to fight the framing, it feels like good marketing. Like Bitcoin incentives are pure, and Bitcoin will correct the political mechanism. And I think that's where he's kind of heading at. It will temper the fiat fraud. It will domesticate the greed of the politicians and the central planners, whether they want to or not. This is the mechanism at play right now. The problem is simple. It's the money, stupid. The money is broken. The money printer is the main tool of power, and they're using it to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And if they can't create more Bitcoin on the Bitcoin standard, then they can't get away with all of this crazy stuff. And if you stop that power, then the state will shrink, and the state will have its hands tied, and it will have to act more like a business, a la the sovereign individual, than a criminal organization. And this is the future that we are all fighting for, because Bitcoin is peace, Bitcoin is freedom, Bitcoin is hope, Bitcoin is the most fair money in the world, period. We know we kind of lean into the idea of Bitcoin being the most equitable money in the world, just to kind of co-opt their framing. And I think this is kind of where Saylor's getting at, is co-opt the framing. Do not let them frame us as we being the negative Bitcoiners, the ones that are destroying the world, because Bitcoin really does fix all of this, and Bitcoin will usher in a bright orange future. And speaking of a bright orange future, get yourself on the Orange Pill app, guys. Go hang out with Bitcoiners, stack friends that stack sats. I've created a Bitcoin. I literally moved to hang out with Bitcoiners because I did not want to just be surrounded by normies. Get on the app. If you are the only Bitcoiner in your area, you need to find other Bitcoiners. Create a Bitcoin meetup if there is none, whether it's simply to link up and just have a beer with someone that gets what's going on, to unplug from the fiat matrix for a day. Get on the Orange Pill app. Find people around you that are Bitcoiners. I think this is one of the most important things you can be doing, is building a strong community of like-minded individuals. And the best way to do it is to get on the Orange Pill app. Anyways, we went a little long, but let's get into the culture, because I'm going to do some speculation here. But I don't know. I'm seeing some things. I'll bounce this off Rustin. Maybe I'm not just being a crazy Bitcoiner that's stupidly bullish. Anyway, let's get into this.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
Of course, before I go on, guys, if you are still a part of the fiat legacy system, if you have a 401k, like, I don't know, some people still do, get on swanbitcoin.com. They have a new offer, the Swan Bitcoin IRA. Bitcoin is generational wealth, and you can secure your bright orange future with the Swan IRA. Real Bitcoin, no taxes. This is not an ETF or a derivative. Get the real thing and get it at Swan. I know all the Bitcoiners, all my friends out there are saying, just get the spot Bitcoin. I agree, but there's levels to this. There's still people that want to dip their toes, and I think this is a good product to eventually get them into self-custody, into fully owning Bitcoin. But again, there's levels to this, and it's not a one-size-fits-all for every single one of us. Some people do still want an IRA or, stocks and 401k. They can't get their money out. So go to swanbitcoin.com, get yourself on the Swan IRA. Anyways, again, like I said, I kind of had this epiphany yesterday on Simply Sessions, and I had this conversation with some friends. I think we are seeing some interesting stuff happen in the Bitcoin mining sphere. I think what we heard over at the Bitcoin conference in Miami was very interesting, and I'm going to start there. So we have the Indonesian governor, Ridwan Kamil, say he wants to bring more Bitcoin mining into the country. Keyword, more. Bitcoin mining is helping to create an affordable price of energy. And then going on, remember what happened in the tiny kingdom of Bhutan. They're secretly holding millions of dollars in Bitcoin and some shit coins, I think. And they also announced that they have been mining for a long time. So we've been hearing the grumblings of the fact that, hey, there may be more nation states out there that are mining Bitcoin, that understand that they can use their excess energy to mine Bitcoin. And this is only what we know of. And we've covered these stories in the past, but something interesting has been going on. I'm over here on mempool.space, and someone, I forget who it was that brought it to my attention, but if you look at the recent blocks, we have a new player in the pool game. There's someone out there that is mining blocks, and as you can see here on mempool.space, it is unknown. We don't know who it is, but they've been for the last couple of days soaking up blocks out there. And it's not just every once in a while. They're doing a lot of unknown mining blocks. Now, is this saying that it is one pool that is actively stacking and actively mining blocks? We don't know. But what we do know is that there is a new player in the field, and you can just go on mempool.space, click the mining tab on the top, and you'll see that almost pretty consistently, we have a new unknown pool that is mining blocks. And I think it's just very interesting to watch and see it play out. And this is where my speculation comes in, because are we seeing a nation state mine Bitcoin blocks? Is this just a new pool that is coming in and mining blocks? We don't know. And this is kind of the beauty of Bitcoin. KYC or no KYC Bitcoin is why you guys want to mine out there. But remember what we've been seeing in the hash rate. The hash rate has been going parabolic. We are almost at 400 exahashes. So I'm over here on BitInfo charts, and you can see that it is just going absolutely parabolic. So who's out there mining? Did someone figure out the game that, hey, I have cheap energy, I have some infrastructure. Maybe someone has deployed a mining setup that we are unaware of. Again, the last 2016 blocks over here on Clark Moody's dashboard is at 364 exahashes. I showed you earlier that the last 90 days is 341 exahashes. Well, remember the little story in April that Russia has become the world's second largest Bitcoin miner in the world. So has another nation state woken up to this, or maybe that unknown mining pool is Russia. Maybe it is some new players on the field that realize the game going on, because we've been continuously beating this drum on our Substack. Shouts out to our boy Mike Hobart. We dropped a few articles on this idea. The first one was Bitcoin mining power games. It's all about power, and it always has been. And that is a double entendre, literally about power as in electricity, and also as power, as we talked about in the beginning, about eliminating the power of the money printer. And furthermore, we dropped this other article last week, I believe, no, 2 weeks ago, national defense through Bitcoin mining. And not to go full Jason Lowry on you guys, but it's important to understand that anyone that is awake right now, that has cheap energy, that wants to vie for power moving forward, is going to have a Bitcoin mining setup. Now, I know, before you guys call me a statist, I fully understand that, yes, we want individuals mining Bitcoin. We want to keep this as decentralized as possible. But anyone that is awake with cheap energy will start to deploy national mining setups. And I think we are seeing these farms get released right now. The hash rate has been going parabolic. We're seeing new unknown pools, hash blocks, and we're getting grumblings of nation states wanting to get into the Bitcoin mining space. So again, putting my tinfoil hat on, speculating a little bit here, it's very interesting to see this play out in the beginning of what looks like the next bull run. You know, we're about what? Almost a year away from the halving. I think moving forward, we will be seeing some more news like this of nation states coming out of deploying their own mining setups. And is this what we're seeing right now? I don't know, but I thought it's a very interesting idea. And this kind of came to me yesterday after I did the Simply Sessions and talked about the Indonesia announcement of them wanting to mine more. I think the game theory of Bitcoin mining is finally getting out, and it's going to become absolutely unstoppable. Now, I don't know. I know I'm speculating here a little bit. It is a Friday show, so I wanted to sprinkle in a little speculation here, because I think it's very interesting to see the game theory play out. And of course, we don't know what's going on with the hash rate. We can only really guess. We don't know what's going on with the mining pool, that unknown mining pool. But hey, there's a new player on the block, and they are hashing blocks like crazy. So will we know who this is moving forward? I'm sure we will figure it out. But if you connect the dots, considering what we've seen in the last month, whether it's the Kingdom of Bhutan, whether it is Russia becoming the second largest miner in the world, whether it is Indonesia, whether it is Hong Kong endorsing Bitcoin, I don't know. I'm starting to see some things, and I think there is a hash race going on right now, and I think it's a very interesting thing to watch. So I will keep an eye on this. But hey, Rustin, am I reading into this? Am I seeing things that I'm just a bullish Bitcoin? I'm like, let's go. The game theory is happening. The hash race is on. And anyone that has cheap energy, I think, is waking up to the idea that, oh man, I need to get a mining farm deployed, or else I will be left behind. And this is something we've been talking about here for a while. So what's your thoughts on this, Rustin?
Man, I think I see a little disparity in the hash rate and to realized price that has to be corrected eventually in time. And that could be where we're getting close to that, 340 days until the halving. So big things coming. And I saw someone here, and I thought I saw someone else on Twitter. They said they think they know who the miner is, and it looked like it was a label sync with mempool. And I thought someone had said possibly F2 pool, but part of that error. But when we're looking at this, I got a tweet pulled up from Luke Majcic. The fourth largest country just announced their intention to join the global Bitcoin mining race and become a Bitcoin heaven. And interestingly, 6 out of 10 countries with the highest Bitcoin adoption are in Asia. Indonesia, 41%, Vietnam, 21%, Hong Kong, 24%, Thailand, 13%, India, 19%, Pakistan, 17%, and the Philippines, 20%. But on Friday, right at the Bitcoin conference, the governor from Indonesia said the following: in isolation, I can see why this hasn't got huge attention. However, this is bigger than many people believe because Indonesia is the 4th largest country by population, the 16th largest by economic output, the largest Muslim country by population, and the world's largest exporter of coal. So these guys getting in, and it's not the only country in Southeast Asia that have publicly announced their intentions to get into Bitcoin, as Opti was talking about. And yesterday, Hong Kong, Bhutan, Laos, and man, the hash wars are coming into effect. China is already the number 2 miner after the quote unquote exodus. So it's interesting how these things are playing out, how the game theory is coming into play, and who will be the champion of the hash wars. Currently, the US is in between that 40 to 50% of hash rate. So, man, it's just making life better everywhere it goes. And hats off to Indonesia and for them looking at bringing this into their country and seeing the benefits and seeing through all the green energy FUD when Bitcoin actually makes green energy profitable and incentivizes its use rather than government mandates.
Love it. Yeah. To be honest, I think all the Bitcoiners, I think we all have a very deep, profound PTSD considering the last bear market. And I'm starting to have the feeling that none of us are bullish enough. I think we think we're a lot smarter than we are. And we don't know what's actually happening in different countries around the world. No one has to actually talk about their Bitcoin holdings, whether they are mining Bitcoin or not. But I think this bull run is going to be set up to be one for the ages. And I know everyone still got that PTSD of like, oh, well, will we ever break 100K again? I'm going to go on the record and say I think we're going to go way past that. I am the stupid, bullish, in-house bulltard. And if we are seeing what I think we're seeing, we're going to get a crazy announcement coming up soon. And all bets are off, and it's just going to absolutely go parabolic. But again, I don't like to speculate, but I am speculating today. Shit's happening is all I'm saying. All right, let's get into the meme review because this is all you guys come here for.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks.
Kaboom. This is the meme review. Tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. As you guys know, we are in an information war, and the powers that be do not want you to escape. We know what the problem is. It is the money, stupid. And you can opt out today by taking Bitcoin into self-custody, by stacking them sats. And here we go. Okay, the first meme is by the Bitcoin therapist. Shouts out to the Bitcoin therapist. And he goes, the choice is simple. And we have a chart here of the Bitcoin price going up forever, Laura. And then we have the Fed chart of the dollar losing its purchasing power since, what's the chart here? 1913. The choice is simple. Are you going to use a money that is designed to steal from you or a money that is going up forever, Laura? Anyways, this next meme is by Wojak Bitcoin Memes. And I honestly, I don't know if the Wojak Bitcoin Memes account is making fun of Bitcoiners or not. But anyways, this is a good meme anyways. And it goes, we have a Wojak in a suit. And it goes, hey, don't forget to pay your income taxes. And if you buy something, you got sales taxes to pay, but you also have property taxes on your already paid house. Oh, and if you die, you also have inheritance tax. And then we have the Wojak with the cloak and laser eyes. And it goes, governments will ultimately have little choice but to treat populations and territories they serve more like customers and less in the way that organized criminals treat the victims of a shakedown racket. Yes, if you know, you know. Okay, and this next one, This one might be a little contentious, but shouts out to Eric Cason because I think this is a very, very solid meme. And I know when I use this word, people get triggered and they shut their mind off because they think of all hell breaking loose. But anyways, Eric Cason goes, this is what anarchism is. Anarchism is not a romantic fable, but the hard-headed realization based on 5,000 years of experience that we cannot entrust the management of our lives to kings, priests, politicians, generals, and county commissioners. Once you've discovered anarchism, you cannot unsee the state for what it is, a fine-tuned system of slavery. Anarchy is not a solution, not a system, not a club, not a church, not even an ideology. It is the natural order of human life. Voluntary, consensual relationships among humans without the greatest problem in all of history. The hallucination, the dystopian ideal that some humans should have the right to violently control their fellow man. Absolute bars. Okay, this next one, shouts out to Jesse Dillon FL on Twitter, and we got a picture of the classic Bitcoin gold coin, but I really brought this one up for the quote here, and he goes, Bitcoin is more than a currency. It is a symbol of freedom. Its decentralized nature empowers individuals, transcending borders and control. With Bitcoin, financial sovereignty is within reach. Join the revolution. Bitcoin and the world. Absolute fires. And then, of course, we've seen this picture here on the show before. It's a classic picture, Paul Revere. But Croesus, a.k.a. Jesse Myers on Twitter, has put his little spin on it, and he goes, the Bitcoin halving is coming. Paul Revere, exactly 11 months left to stack sats before block 840,000. Guys, shit's about to get crazy. You guys need to understand where we're going. I think this next year is going to be absolute bananas. Actually, I forgot to do something. So drop your meme review score in the chat as I do the BitPlates plug. You already know the deal. Get yourself a BitPlates. You can get a discount on bitplates.com with the promo code SIMPLY. This is easy. Wait, hold on. The sound of hard money. Easy to use, hard to destroy. BitPlates dominoes are designed to preserve Bitcoin wallet backup seed phrase and passphrases made from highly corrosion resistant 316L marine grade stainless steel and offering the ultimate protection against extremes of temperatures. Get 10% off all BitPlates products using the code SIMPLY. All right, we did that one. Now, drop your meme review score. But before we do that, we got to plug our boys over at Represent. Shouts out to representltd.com. We wear the merch every single day. I'm wearing the Drop Bombs Simply Bitcoin shirt. They are sold out. Rustin's got the all black Simply Bitcoin hat. I am pretty sure there's still some Simply Bitcoin snapbacks on the website. I haven't checked this week. I have been swamped, but I'm almost positive they are there. Anyways, guys, I hope you dropped your meme review score in the chat. Okay, I got one. Good thing I did a long segue in there so that other people can get in. Okay.
I see you, Phil. I like Phil's.
Sweet. Okay, let's go to Roman Stack Sats. Meme review is just a nice bonus opti. You got, oh wait, that's not a score. Okay, hold on.
Oh man.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Becca, Bitcoin Becca, I give these memes 840 more. Don't stop believing spaces.
That's right.
Yellow.
Never stop.
Okay, Phil C. I give these memes 10,000 sats of rat poison. This guy gets it.
Yes.
Ran more score. Came for number go up. Stayed for memes. Okay, let's go. Wave elevator. I give the memes one crispy salute for Memorial Day. Let's go. Apollo 21. He goes, let's score. My ticket to the Bitcoin halving party. Let's go. Okay. AAR goes, I give this memes free ledger recovery subs. Okay. All right. This next one, it's basic biology. I give the memes a suit of armor made from highly corrosion resistant stainless steel. Yes. You know, the new Bitcoin outfit is like everyone in medieval armor suit walking around. That's called style. All right, guys. Well, hey, it's the Friday show. We made it another week. Really appreciate everyone that is supporting us. But before we go, before I plug Rustin a little bit, you already know the deal. Go check us out on audio only platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Fountain. I told you, actually, I probably had enough time today to get the fountains, but we appreciate you guys streaming us stats, clipping us, giving us comments. I see literally in real time that people are following us on Fountain. So appreciate all of you guys. We are a part of the value for value economy. I hope that we are adding value to you guys. And I'm just honored and humbled that we can be a part of your daily life. It's truly mind-blowing. Anyways, Rustin, we made it one more week, bro. Good job. We got in the reps this week, and we'll be back.
Let's go.
Yeah. So Monday is Memorial Day. We will be back on YouTube because YouTube did penalize us last week for taking the break. But the show will go on. Oh, wait, did we drop? We missed our meme review score.
What's your score update?
My score is the Simply Bitcoin sticker.
There we go.
If you were in Miami, you probably got one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Come hang out with us on Twitter Spaces. Like I said, Monday, we're going to have a show. But we won't be having a Twitter Spaces, so we'll just be on YouTube. We're going to give producer Jacob a break for Memorial Day, but we will be back on our normal schedule. Come hang out with us on Twitter Spaces. Until next time, we will see you. Peace out.